This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
So it's wonderful to be back, Baruch Hashem, after seeing so many beautiful communities and meeting so many remarkable people all over the United States and Toronto, Canada. One particular message that hit me today, and I wanted to just give it over to you, because sometimes people are thinking about those big stories and those big people out there that do amazing things, and there are people out there that do amazing things. But there's one particular story that came to my mind, which is such a small story, which is almost insignificant in the bigger picture. But I don't want to forget it, so I wanted to give it over to you. I wanted to just let you know one thing that happened to me, of the many, and we'll discuss them maybe, in the next few days in different various forms. But one particular thing that really hit me, and it was, again, it's such a small thing, but yet it's not really. When you're running around, it's the schedule is very hard. You're getting up early in the morning, you're coming back late at night. There's no particular time for davening, there's no particular time for eating. It's literally all over the place. You're trying to cram everything in as much as you can, and you don't normally have the same schedule and the same situation. So there I was, Lakewood, and I pulled up in front of one of the schools that I went to visit, and I was about 5 minutes early to my appointment, and I'm sitting in the car, right? The car is, it's amazing actually. I was driving in LA, and I met someone there, actually quite famous speaker, who speaks also on Torah Anytime. Anyway, so I know him, so it was after shul, so I drove past, and I pulled down the window, and said, Shalom Aleichem, how are you? It's so nice to see a familiar face in the middle of nowhere, for me at least. Anyways, he says, oh wow, he looks into the car and he says, I remember these days. Coffee, a little biscuit next to you, that's like your breakfast, and you've got all your papers there, that's like your office, this is like your home, this is where you're living, in your car, right? So I remember those days, now I live here, whatever. Anyway, so it's a real matzav. So I pull up to this school in Lakewood, and 5 minutes before my appointment, and a boy comes knocking on the door, on the window of the car. And I pull down the window of the car, and says, yes. He says, are you here to deliver lunch? I said, no, I've been confused for many things, but no, I'm not a delivery man, and I have not been here to deliver lunch, but I'm hungry, so what's for lunch? And he says, I don't know, and he walks away. It was pretty cold. Closed the window. About 5 minutes later, I'm about to leave the car, and he comes back out of the yeshiva with a big bowl, a steaming bowl of, I don't know, whatever was for lunch that day. And he brings it to me, and I open the window and I said, what is this? He said, you said you were hungry, so I want to give you lunch. And I'm thinking to myself, isn't that amazing? He's maybe 11 or 12-year-old boy, right? It was from the lower classes, obviously. And yet he hears somebody, doesn't know who he is, a rabbi, not a rabbi, doesn't know anything. What's the difference? Whoever this is, doesn't know he's traveling, doesn't know he lives in Lakewood, lives in Eretz Yisrael, lives in England, doesn't know anything. And he thought, wow, I want to give him something. He's hungry, let's go give him something. Now, I just thought about it, again, it's such a small and maybe insignificant event that happened over the many events that did happen, but it stuck in my mind, because so many times we go through life and we hear sometimes from people that they need things, but we don't pick up the messages, and we don't actually do anything about it. And I think it's very, very important. And I just wanted to give you over that message, just so you should have that idea within you. And it's a wonderful thing to remember. Okay.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.